Hello students, today we will discuss more about constellations. So the most constellations appear in the sky in different positions as throughout the year. It is because Earth is revolving around the Sun. So based on the position of Earth, the position of constellation will vary. Also, since the Earth has one more motion, that is rotation on its axis, some of the constellation seems to rise in the east and set in the west during the night. What the sun also does. So, like the sun, some of the stars will be seen to rise in the east and set in the west only due to the rotation of Earth, while some other stars seems to rotate about the north polar star. So this is a constant exposure photograph taken. So where you can see some of the stars have been rising and setting on the west, while some others have been circulating around a pole. Okay, so they will be always visible while some others are rising and setting. So after setting, it won't be visible. So in the northern hemisphere, everything in the sky will rotate around the north celestial pole. As I have shown in the with the globe, you can see that it is the poles which behaves as a fixed point, and the equator or the bulge portion seems to be rotating, isn't it? So in the same way, the sky seems to rotate around the north celestial pole. So based on that, you have different kind of constellations. So we can consider such constellation which circumvent the pole is said to be circumpolar constellation. So these are group of stars that appear in the sky all night long and all year long. They will be present. It seems that these stars do not rise or set, but instead they will circle the North Pole each night. So these stars are said to be circumpolar stars. For example, we have studied Ursa Major and Cassiopeia. So from higher northern latitudes in Europe, North America and Russia, always they seem together on opposite sides of the Polaris. From North India, it is observable during winter months. And from southern hemisphere, these circumpolar constellation which are in the north will not be seen at all. Okay. Similarly, equatorial constellations are those constellations which are along the celestial equator. Okay, intersect means which are they are present along the celestial equator, and hence they won't be circumpolar constellation at any latitude. They seems to rise and set. Okay, so based on the concept of setting and rising, or circumventing the poles, we can divide the constellations into three broad groups. Okay, so they are circumpolar constellation or equatorial constellation. Circumpolar means it will be circumventing the poles. Equatorial means they are along the celestial equator and they seems to set and rise. Okay, circumpolar is again divided into two because there are two poles available. So those circumventing the north pole will be called northern circumpolar, and those circumventing the south pole will be called as southern circumpolar. And it actually depends upon their position in the celestial sphere. Those stars whose declination is between 40 degree and 90 degree north and south of celestial equator are said to be circumpolar constellation. What does that mean? So this is supposed to be the 40 degree plane, that is declination starts from equator. Celestial equator declination is 0. From that, as we move upward in the north direction, it will be reaching 40 and ultimately it will be reaching 90 degree at the north celestial pole. So between these two positions, let me highlight, between this position which is 40 degree and this pole position which is 90 degree, those stars between these declination will be circumpolar, northern circumpolar constellation. Similarly, the stars or constellations between 40 degree and 90 degree in the southern celestial part will be southern circumpolar constellations. Okay, so their declination will be between minus 40 and minus 40 in the south and minus 90 in the south celestial pole. So what will be equatorial? In between these 2 points will be called as equatorial constellation, that is between minus 40 to plus 40. Those will be occupied by equatorial constellations. Okay. So remember those, and we need to consider some more, one more division of constellations. Among the equatorial constellations, there are some constellations which are special. They are called zodiacal constellations. And what is the speciality of zodiacal constellation is that they are. So before going into zodiacal constellations, let us consider the concept of ecliptic. So ecliptic is defined as the path the sun seems to move in a year. Okay, and why it is mentioned as apparent? Because it is not the sun that moves, but earth is moving. Earth is moving around the sun. So what we feel is that sun is actually moving. That is why the term apparent is used. So the sun's apparent annual path among the constellation is called ecliptic. Okay, so knowing the path of the ecliptic will be helpful in locating where the planets and moon will be found, as it describes the plane of our solar system. So the ecliptic is also the path of the plane of the solar system also, because you need not check for planets in the north side or in the south side, but you need to look only along the ecliptic. Okay, അപ്പോൾ മൂണും പ്ലാനറ്റ്സും സണ്ണും എല്ലാം പാസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഒരേ പ്ലെയിനിലാണ്. Okay, and hence the ecliptic, knowing the ecliptic, we can confirm where to look for planets and their moons. We don't have to look randomly onto the sky. Now what is zodiac then? So zodiac is a ecliptic എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു സിംഗിൾ ലൈൻ പാത്താണെങ്കിൽ zodiac will be a ribbon sized portion about the ecliptic. That is, it is the imaginary zone on the celestial sphere which is 8 degree wide on each side of the ecliptic, which forms the background for motion of sun, moon and planets wherever they may be in the orbit. എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ I think it is shown here. Okay, later on I will be showing you a video on that. Okay, so we can consider ecliptic as a single line. Here you have a let me highlight then. So if this is the ecliptic, that is the path of traveled by sun, then the zodiac is a region which is about the ecliptic. This much region is called zodiac. Okay, so this is ecliptic, this is E, This is ecliptic. Yellow line shows the ecliptic path of the sun, while the red ribbon shaped region is called zodiac. So zodiac is 8 degree wide on the left side as well as on 8 degree wide on the right hand side. Okay, so together it constitute 16 degree. 8 plus 8, 16. So 8 degree wide on each side of the ecliptic will be called as zodiac. So it is actually a imaginary sun. അപ്പോൾ ഏത് പ്ലാനറ്റ് ആയാലും സണ്ണിൻ്റെ ഏത് പ്ലാനറ്റ് ആയാലും മൂൺ പ്ലാനറ്റ് ഏതെങ്കിലും പ്ലാനറ്റ്സിൻ്റെ മൂൺ ആയാലും ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ബി അലോങ് ദിസ് സോഡിയാക് അലോങ്. ഓക്കെ, വേറെ പുറത്തേക്കൊന്നും പ്ലാനറ്റിനെയോ പ്ലാനറ്റ്സിൻ്റെ മൂണിനെയോ ഒന്നും സാറ്റലൈറ്റ്സിനെയോ ഒന്നും കാണാൻ പറ്റില്ല. So the entire solar system orbits in one plane, and the maximum ആ പ്ലെയിനിൽ നിന്ന് മാക്സിമം വ്യത്യാസം വരാൻ പോകുന്നത് 8 ഡിഗ്രി ആണ്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ദ സോഡിയാക് ഹാസ് ബീൻ ചോസൻ ആസ് വൈഡ് ആസ് 8 ഡിഗ്രി ഓൺ ബോത്ത് സൈഡ് ഓഫ് ദി എക്ലിപ്റ്റിക്. Hope that is clear. So the constellation, some of the constellations will be lying through the zodiac. So those constellations on the celestial sphere which passes through the ecliptic along the zodiac zone is called zodiac constellations. Okay, so that's how the astrology has evolved. Astrology is based on all signs, but astronomy tells us that zodiac constellation is not based on sign, but it is the constellation which is along the ecliptic. And there are 12 constellations have been devised, and so during the passage of sun through the ecliptic, the sun will appear to move from one zodiacal constellation to the next in the course of about a month. നമുക്കറിയാം ആസ്ട്രോളജിയിൽ തന്നെ ഒരു സോഡിയാക് സൈൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഒരു മന്തിൻ്റെ ഹാഫ് മുതൽ അടുത്ത മന്തിൻ്റെ ഹാഫ് വരെ അല്ലേ. അപ്പോൾ ഡ്യൂറിങ് ദ കോഴ്സ് ഓഫ് 1 month we can see that the sun will be passing from one constellation to another. You can imagine like this, അതായത് you have a ribbon. Okay, ആ റിബണിനെ നമ്മൾ we have cut it into, or we have a cake. It is considered a cake. A cake is cut into 12 equal halves. Okay, ഓരോ pieces will be occupied by a constellation. അപ്പോൾ you can see that if sun supposed to travel along the cake, it will be moving from one piece to another in a course of 1 month. Okay, so the sun seems to transit through all the 12 of them in 1 year. So this is how it is. So for example, during May to June, the zodiac sign is actually Taurus. So what does that mean? It just means that when we look at the sun from Earth, the sun would be in Taurus constellation. So if sun is in the Taurus constellation, will that constellation be visible? No, because the light of sun is more than that given by a faraway Taurus constellation. Okay, so we will be seeing all other constellation except Taurus. Okay, so in whichever constellation sun is present, that alone will be absent and all other constellation will be present. So a month will be named after, or the period will be named after that particular invisible constellation. Is that clear? So when you look from Earth onto the sun, you can see that the sun is in along one particular constellation, and hence that constellation will not be visible. All other constellation will be visible. Then that period of month will be called or named after the zodiac constellation Taurus. Okay, that happens between May 13 and May 21. Okay, once it then after June, so now it is Gemini. So what does that appear like? So the earth has moved to this side. So what happens then? Earth can see, from earth you can see all the constellations except Gemini twins. So Gemini twins are not visible during June 21st to July. Okay, all other constellations will be visible. Then the period from June 21 to July 21st will be named after, or the sign will be Gemini constellation. Hope it is clear. So here there is a video on how the sun is traveling along the ecliptic. So let us watch it. Watch carefully. This is sun. So sun is moving along each constellation. Now it is Aquarius, then Pisces, then Taurus, then coming back to Gemini, Cancer, Leo, reaching to Virgo, and so on. So here you can see that ഈ സൺ ഇങ്ങനെ പാസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ അതിൻ്റെ ചുറ്റിനും ഉള്ള ഭാഗത്ത് സണ്ണിന് എബൌട്ടായിട്ടാണ് പ്ലാനറ്റ്സ് എല്ലാം റൊട്ടേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് അല്ലേ. സോ ഹിയർ യു ക്യാൻ സീ ദാറ്റ് ദിസ് അബൌട്ട് ദി ഓർ അറൗണ്ട് ദ സൺ planets have been also been circulating. Okay, let's watch it once again. See, the planet has been circulating. Okay, one, then it comes upward. Okay, you can see it is moving. Some white things have been moving around. Let's watch it again. So this is our sun, this is moon. So one planet seems to circulate, again the moon seems to circulate, then another planet seems to circulate it. So all the planets and the moon will be revolving around the sun. So that is how the zodiac constellation is mentioned. So coming back to a slide. So here you can see along, if the sun is at if the earth is at this position, when we look at the sun, what happens? It will be against the Sagittarius constellation. So that constellation will not be visible while all other will be visible, and hence December period will be called as in the name of Sagittarius. Okay, similarly for all other cases. Okay, and in the new recently it has been found that there is one more constellation, that is Ophiuchus. So it is a new constellation, zodiac constellation, which has been detected. So again the same thing. So here you can see this band represents the zodiac along the ecliptic. Here you can see the ecliptic and the band of which is given by zodiac, and the zodiac is divided into different portions. Each portion is occupied by one constellation. Okay, so thank you.